Introduction to SAS and importing. SAS is a statistical application software which we use majorly for data manipulation and statistical computations. Now, there are many products or platforms on which we can use SAS. Some of them are SAS Enterprise Guide, Base SAS, SAS VA, etc. SAS EG is more user-friendly and recommended for beginner to understand SAS easily. We in Vodafone have SAS EG. A major advantage is it can handle very large data like millions of entries. Basic rules about how SAS code works. First and foremost, SAS program is executed in sequence order, top to bottom. First data, then set, and then run. SAS statements are case insensitive. They can be in uppercase or lowercase. You can see in example, data is completely lowercase and set is completely in uppercase, whereas run is a mix of both. Every statement has to end with semicolon symbol, which we can see in the code. So now, if these statements are too long, they can be continued into next line. And if they're too short, two statements can be written in the same line as long as we are separating them with semicolon properly. Comments are to make program understandable easily to third party. These won't be read by SAS processor. We can differentiate comments from SAS code by enclosing them in /* or asterisk and semicolon. In this first example, first line to copy data from class to test is a comment. Components of SAS Enterprise Guide. SAS EG is more understandable and helpful in writing codes with its graphic user interface. Datasets. SAS has a special inbuilt format to store data. These are called datasets. They also store library information. We will talk about it in the upcoming slides. We can identify them in Windows folder with extension .sas7b.dat. Now coming to SAS names, there are a few rules to be remembered, like the length of the name can be of maximum 32 characters only, and it must start with a character or underscore, but not with a number or other special characters like $, etc. And the rest of the name can contain letters, numerals, and underscore only. As we spoke in previous slide, they are case insensitive. SAS EG consists of program editor, log, output window, server list, and project tree. SAS EG windows. As we can see, this is program editor where we write the code for execution. This is log in which execution report is shown whether it is successful or not. If not, then why. Output window. Here we can see results of any query. This is server list, which shows the servers we have access to. We shall talk about project tree in the next slide. Components of SAS Enterprise Guide. It shows entire process with multiple programs and their related content like logs, output, and datasets in a flow that highlights the sequence in which it is executed. Like here we can see O parametric is the code and these three are datasets, and SAS report O parametric is the output report. Then one promo ECP is executed next in the order. Processing of SAS program. Here we are going to show how SAS program is executed internally and results are shown in output window. First, code is submitted for execution Then the code is stored in input stack and tokenized, and each token is checked for syntax error in compiler. If no error is present, then it is executed and results are shown in output window. Types of SAS coding formats. In SAS, we write any query in either data step or proc step. If anything is written apart from this, it is called open code. Here, in snippet, first two lines are open code, followed by data step and proc step. Libname statement. Library is a physical location where we can store datasets, and libref is the proxy alias used to refer to the library any time in the code. Libname is the default keyword used to assign the libref to library. In this snippet, SR is the libref and path in the quotation is the path of the folder. We can see in proc step we are referring to dataset ZXC stored in the folder with library reference SR. Datasets. Datasets can be of two types, permanent and temporary. Temporary datasets are active only when SAS session is active. It will be deleted once it is closed. So they are stored in temporary folder called work. If no library reference is given, SAS takes work folder by default like we see in the snippet. XYZ is created in work folder temporary. Once this session is closed, XYZ is deleted. Whereas permanent datasets are stored in permanent location, which we can refer in new session. So there is no need to generate them again. To call them, we need library name and dataset name. We are referring with two-level name. Data step. Data step is used to create and manipulate datasets. New datasets are created in three ways. From existing datasets, with direct entry from editor, and by importing from flat files like CSV, tab, and other delimited files. Data step can be used to give output in flat files format, and it can create multiple datasets in one go, unlike the proc step. One thing to remember is they cannot import from or export to Excel files directly. Basic syntax of data step and methods for importing data. This is the basic syntax of data step. Data and run are default words. Input-output datasets and manipulations to be done depends on the requirement. These are the four methods to import. Creating SAS datasets from raw files using data step or using import procedure. Entering data directly into SAS dataset. Converting other software's data files into SAS datasets, and reading other software's data files directly. We will talk about the two methods which we use in the next slide. Methods for importing. Using data step import wizard, which is the most common method. Go to file icon and then click on import data. Then select the input data to be imported. Here, contact info. Here, do not touch source data file options. In output SAS dataset, select in which server library you want to store the imported data and give the name of your choice, aligning to the SAS name rules. Then select this option if the variable names like name, age, gender, and date of birth are included in the file. Here, we can rename the variable names, define their informats, length, etc. Finally, This is the log and dataset is created. Methods for importing. Another way is by writing a procedure code. This is the generic code. In the example, we are importing test.csv from this path and storing it in dataset shoes. And we are mentioning some commands to be followed while importing. Let's see what these commands are. dbms, it specifies the type of data to import. To import a tab delimited file, specify tab as the identifier. To import any other delimited file that does not end in .csv, specify DLM as the identifier. Replace will overwrite if there is already shoes dataset. If it is not mentioned, it won't replace it. Data row mentions where to start reading data from the specified row number in the delimited text file. Get names specifies whether the import procedure generates SAS variable names from the data values in the first record in the input file. Guessing rows specifies the number of rows of the file to scan to determine the appropriate data type and length for the columns. Sometimes there can be errors while importing which we cannot comprehend in the beginning itself. So it is recommended to check log to avoid troubles in future. Second method is giving data points directly in the code itself, like shown in the example. Everything between data lines and run are data points, and their variable names are declared in the input statement. There will be positional correspondence with variables which are separated by space. Data types. Informats and formats. These are to define what type of variable it is, character, numeric, or data type, and to specify the maximum length its values take. We can define informats and formats before importing only. Generally, system defines them automatically based on top 100 or 200 values in the file. Dollar symbol is used for character variables only. Date variables will have date, YY, MM, DD, etc. Numericals generally have best 12.2 as informats and formats. If a variable has $12 as informat, then it is a character variable with length 12. 12 here is the width W. Same is the case with date informat. For numbers, best 12.2 indicates that it is a number and 2 is the decimal place. We use 12 when the number is small and 32 when it is large. 1234.23 is an acceptable value for a variable with best 12.2. These are the different types of date informats available and how the corresponding values will be shown in datasets. So if you use the date informat MMDDYY6 dot, the date will be shown as 101599. And if you use the date informat date 11 dot, the output will be shown as 30 May 2000. Internally, SAS won't read date as date, but it will convert it into a numerical value. This value is created by calculated number of days between Jan 1st, 1960 to date value specified in dataset. Similarly, if we mention in date time, then it will store number of seconds value from midnight of Jan 1, 1960. Time is shown in HHMMSS.SS format, where HH is the hour, MM are the minutes, SS.SS seconds and hundredth of seconds. This is optional. W is the width and it defines what all should be shown. Minimum of width 5 is mandatory for time. With this, we have completed first module of SAS training on importing and SAS nuances. For any further understanding, you can go through the link given here or book mentioned Learning SAS by Example, a Programmer's Guide.